Hello everyone, welcome to this TruSlate GAF video. Today I'm going to give you some instructions and give you some ideas and tips on how to install the buttons and hangers in the right way. Why is this video? Well, if you're going to be under the warranties with TruSlate GAF installation, it's always necessary to do it right. So that's why I'm going to give you some tips on how to do it right. First of all, before the buttons and hangers installation, it's always important to understand some of the most important topic or items in this piece. So I'm going to give you some information about this. First of all, this piece is 4 feet long. It's always important to know all these measurements, right? So 4 feet long. The other one is that every hanger is 5 inches wide. All right? That means that it's 4 feet by 5 inches. The other good information about this is that every single piece has 8 hangers. All right, important information. Something else, in between every hanger there are 6 inches. All right, in between every hanger. And I want you to see this important information right here. We have like a squares right here, right? So we have 1, 2, and 3. That means that in every hanger we have 3 spaces right there. And that's what we need all the time. In other words, as you can see, we have 1.5 on one side, and also on the other side we have 1.5. That means that every time you install one piece and then you install the next piece, it's always important not to overlap, because if you do that, now what you're gonna do is that you're gonna have less space, less than 6 inches. That means that you're gonna have some problems in the future, right? So at the end, you're gonna have some problems and you're not gonna know what happened right there. So it's always important to know all this basic information. So let's install one piece. Before I install one of these buttons and hangers right here in this area, I'm gonna ask you first, if you're gonna be using this type of metal at the end, at the rake, which is another TruSlate video that I'm going to explain later on. But I want you to see, if you have this type of metal, which we strongly recommend to use, make sure that if you are not using this metal, you're going to be installing the buttons and hangers along the rake first. In other words, the horizontal piece first. Now, if you are doing this type of valley right here on this side, which is the open valley, right, you need to install the buttons and hangers in horizontal way first. That's always important. All right, so I'm gonna install this piece of buttons and hangers. Now, here's another important topic or point. As you can see, I'm gonna install this piece, but I'm gonna leave a 1/2 inch along the rake as a space, right? Because you don't want to see any shiny areas from the ground. That's why we're gonna leave 1/2 inch space right here. So put it right on the line, install the nails, and as you remember, we have 8 hangers in one piece. That means that we're gonna install 8 nails, but the right area to install the nails are right on the middle. So I'm gonna stop all this. I'm gonna skip this because I'm gonna explain something later. Have all the nails right in the center of every hanger. All right, this is going to bring 110 miles per hour warranty. But if you're going to increase the warranty up to 130 miles per hour, what you need to do is, instead of nailing right here in the center, you have to install the nail right here, clipping the hanger. In other words, you have to do this. All right, so as you can see, we have this nail clipping the hanger, which is going to be virtually impossible to remove that hanger. So as you can see, I can remove this hanger easily. That's really easy to remove, and of course easy to install it back. All right, but this one right here is going to be almost impossible to remove, and that's why we increase the warranty with this one up to 130 miles per hour. That information is really important for you and for me too, right? So now I'm ready to install the next piece along the one that's already installed. So what I'm going to do is measure what I need right here, so I know exactly what I'm going to cut. This piece right here, I'm going to cut this piece of buttons and hangers. And I can cut it anywhere on this side, because I know that I'm not going to be installing any other piece of buttons and hangers. But the most important point right here is to have these 3 spaces. So I have 1.5 right here, 1.5 right here. In other words, now I have 1, 2, and 3 exactly. That means that I have 6 inches in between hangers. All right? Now, let me give you a tip right here. If for any reason, right, you have another piece which you already cut from somewhere else. So let's say, for example, you're going to be using this piece, for example, right? And I don't have 1.5 right here. So what I need to do is cut exactly in 1.5 if I want to reuse this piece right here. So that way I can have 3 spaces exactly. All right, this is always important. And tip number 2, do not overlap. That's another great point to remember all the time. All right, so I have the other piece ready. So I'm just going to install the next piece, and I'm going to not overlap. All right, and this is it. That's all you need to do in order to install the battens and hangers. Again, we're going to have some other videos about TruSlate. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much for your time. And please visit www.gaf.com or YouTube videos through GAF, so that way you can learn some other topics about TruSlate. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.